1 hour for Caitlyn Clark's return to Carver Hawkeye Arena to be sold out. Tickets went on sale at 9 this morning.
Caitlyn Clark doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle.
Did you see what just happened? The Indiana Fever just sold out 15,000 tickets to a preseason game faster than Angel Reese can say,
"One person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that."
And no, they're not squaring off against LeBron James, Steph Curry, or even the Utah Jazz. They're playing the Brazilian women's national team, a team with as many household name players as Timothée Chalamet has Oscars. Want a resale ticket? Better start digging through your couch cushions or selling a kidney, because prices are soaring into the thousands. We're talking numbers so high you'd need Bill Belichick to become your sugar daddy. She's in it for his personality, folks. It's gotten so wild that Mr. Beast, my YouTube overlord who gives out cash like it's oxygen, is on X begging for a seat. That's the level of insanity we're dealing with here. On May 4th, 2025, at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Clark's old college stomping grounds, the Fever will face Brazil in a game that's less about hoops and more about a coronation. The arena, which seats 15,500, hasn't seen this kind of frenzy since, well, Caitlyn Clark. Tickets vanished in minutes, with resale prices hitting $2,500 on StubHub faster than you can say supply and demand. What's crazier? They could have sold this 2 times over. Now, if you're sitting there smugly muttering, "Oh, I saw this coming from a mile away," you must be the proud owner of a DeLorean time machine with a dog-eared copy of the Sports Almanac stashed in the glove box. Please zip back to 1980 and tell my parents to buy Apple stock. That way, I can afford a ticket to watch Caitlyn drop threes on the Brazilians from the Gainbridge Fieldhouse parking lot. And if you think this is just fans starting to wake up to how amazing the WNBA has always been, like Truman figuring out his world's been a lie for 30 years, then plug your ears, because I've got some shattering intel about Santa Claus. He's not real. And neither was the idea of a WNBA preseason game selling out 15,000 seats 2 years ago. In fact, any WNBA game selling more than 15,000 seats was about as likely as Kanye West tweeting something that won't make his publicist quit. But then Caitlyn Clark strutted in, slicing through records like a fruit ninja with watermelons, and now here we are. 15,000 seats gone, haters weeping, and the Fever laughing all the way to the bank. Now let's rewind the tape a sec. This preseason sellout isn't some random fluke. No, this is the natural encore to Caitlyn Clark's rookie season, where she didn't just play basketball, she turned the WNBA into a cultural juggernaut. The numbers? Oh, they're spicy. In her first season, the Fever racked up over 340,000 total home attendees across 18 games. That's an average of more than 17,000 fans per night, the highest in WNBA history. Before Clark rolled into town, they were lucky to get 4,000 people to show up. On the road, she drew crowds like she was handing out free iPhones. Over 20,000 fans packed the stands in DC to watch her bless the Mystics with her presence, a record for a single game. That's not a basketball game. That's a rock concert with better cardio. TV viewership? Buckle up. Her games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a 200% leap over games without her. WNBA viewership spiked 170% in 2024, and Fever games alone accounted for 45% of the league's broadcast value. She didn't just bring casual fans to the table, she turned them into diehards, and made them buy the jersey too. Speaking of jerseys, Fever gear sales surged 1,200% year over year, with Clark's number 22 selling faster than the rotisserie chickens at the back of Costco. You know they put them back there so you have to walk through the entire store, right? Economically, ticket revenue for the Fever jumped 265%, and local businesses near Gainbridge Fieldhouse reported a 25% uptick in sales on game days. She's not a player, she's a one-woman economic stimulus package, and the WNBA is cashing the checks. Let's break down her stat line because it's a masterpiece Picasso would envy. Clark averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game, numbers that made her the runaway Rookie of the Year. She broke the WNBA record for assists in a season and points by a guard. Yet, you've got some bozos still saying she's not the best point guard in the league.
Sure, Jan.
But it's not just about the stats, it's the vibe. Clark turned the Fever from a team you'd politely clap for into a must-see event. She's the reason your uncle, who only watches ESPN for baseball highlights, is suddenly texting you about women's hoops. She's the reason you're watching games at the bar, instead of only seeing the highlights on airport TVs, probably during CNN. She's the reason the WNBA went from YMCA Rec League demand to selling out NBA arenas. And this 15,000-seat preseason sellout? That's just the cherry on top of the Caitlyn Clark sundae. A sundae so delicious everyone wants a bite, except for the lactose-intolerant haters who get irritable bowel syndrome the moment they hear Caitlyn's name. Now, let's talk about the clowns in the peanut gallery. The bozos, grifters, and rage baiters who've been screaming into the void since day one. You know the type. The ones who'd rather die on a hill of bad takes than admit they're wrong. Their big argument? Caitlyn Clark's success isn't about skill, hustle, or that silky smooth jumper. It's about race. They say she's only popular because she's white, waving the privilege flag like it's a get-out-of-logic free card. Others call it temporary hype, like she's a one-hit wonder who'll fade faster than that Korean dude who did Gangnam Style. Drop his name in the comments for nostalgia. Let's unpack this garbage fire, shall we? First off, the race argument is as flimsy as a wet paper towel in a tornado. Are they saying 15,000 fans shelled out thousands to see her because of her skin tone and not because she's dropping dimes and draining threes like it's her day job? Let's talk NCAA, because her resume there shuts this nonsense down cold. At Iowa, Clark became the all-time leading scorer in Division I history. She smashed Pete Maravich's record like it was a piñata at a kid's party. She also set the single-season record for three-pointers and was the first player ever to lead the nation in points and assists in the same year, twice. She dropped 49 points in a single game against Michigan. That's not privilege, that's dominance. Tell that to the stats. She accounted for 26.5% of the WNBA's economic activity in 2024. Attendance, merchandise, viewership, the works. That's a player so electric she's got casuals who don't know a pick and roll from a dinner roll tuning in. And temporary hype? The numbers laugh in your face. A 170% viewership spike isn't a fluke, it's a freaking tsunami. Her games didn't just pull viewers, they kept them week after week, turning the WNBA into a destination instead of background noise for your dentist's waiting room. The haters act like she's some flash-in-the-pan gimmick, but 1,200% merchandise growth says otherwise. You don't accidentally quadruple attendance and rewrite record books because of a PR stunt. You do it because you're a generational talent. Swoops says her stats don't stack up. Clark's 19.2 points and 8.4 assists dwarfed every other rookie's output in 2024. Angel Reese didn't even crack 14 points per game. Marketing doesn't sink 122 threes, skill does. But the best part, their world is crumbling faster than a Vegas marriage. Every sold-out game, every jaw-dropping stat, every desperate plea from Mr. Beast is another nail in the coffin of their sad little narrative. They're out here sipping haterade while Clark's rewriting the script, and the plot twist is a doozy. She's not going anywhere. So what happens when you drop a supernova like Caitlyn Clark into a league that's been scraping by? You get a glow-up so epic it'd make the cast of Queer Eye jealous. The WNBA isn't just riding her coattails, it's sprinting into a new era, and the signs are everywhere. Exhibit A, this 15,000-seat preseason sellout against Brazil. That's not a game, that's a cultural flex so loud it's rattling the rafters. But it's bigger than one night. The league's bending over backwards to keep up with her. Fever games are getting bumped to NBA arenas because their usual digs can't handle the hordes. In 2025, the Chicago Sky moved their Fever matchups to the United Center, twice the size of Wintrust Arena that the Sky can't even sell out game in and game out. The Atlanta Dream shifted to State Farm Arena, and the Washington Mystics are upgrading again, NBA-sized venues bowing to Clark's pull. She doesn't just break ankles, she breaks seating charts. Then there's the NBA All-Star Three-Point Challenge fiasco. Picture this. The NBA's hyping up their big mid-season shindig in 2025, and they invite Clark to flex her long-range game. She says, "Nah, I'm good." And what do? They cancel it. The NBA, yes, the $12 billion big brother, scrapped an event because a WNBA sophomore didn't feel like showing up. That's not influence. That's straight-up domination. She's got the league's puppet strings in one hand and a basketball in the other. Oh, and the Fever? They're not messing around. In the 2025 free agency and trade period, they went full Avengers Assemble mode. They snagged Dewana Bonner, a two-time WNBA champion and six-time All-Star who's averaged 14.9 points and 6.1 rebounds over her 15-year career. Then they added Natasha Howard, a three-time champ whose defensive grit could make opponents cry uncle. They also traded for Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooting wing with enough toughness to stare down a Grizzly. Pair them with Aaliyah Boston, 2023's Rookie of the Year, and you've got a roster that's less team and more war machine. Bonner's scoring and versatility mean Clark can sling no-look passes for easy buckets. Howard's lockdown defense will create more offensive opportunities in transition that would have normally been baskets for the opposition. Cunningham's shooting will stretch defenses, letting Clark carve up the floor like a Thanksgiving turkey. Analysts say this lineup could turn the Fever into a playoff threat. The days of, "Aw, the Fever tried hard," are gone. Now it's watch out, or they'll bury you by halftime. And here's the kicker. The WNBA's on the cusp of a $200 million per year TV deal, starting in 2026, a massive leap from the $60 million they were scraping by on. That cash, fueled in no small part by Clark's 45% share of 2024's broadcast value, will bankroll a new CBA with player salaries jumping from an average of $120,000 to potentially $300,000 plus. The league is exiting its poverty era, and it's all because Caitlyn Clark turned it from a charity case into a self-sustaining powerhouse. No more begging Daddy NBA for pocket change like Hillary Banks.
Dad, I need $200.
All right, haters, it's time for a reality check, or as I like to call it, the hater apocalypse. The evidence is piled higher than a hoarder's garage. 15,000 preseason tickets gone, 26.5% of the league's economy on her back, NBA arenas bowing to her crowds, and a TV deal that's about to make it rain. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player, she's the WNBA's savior, and denying it is like denying the sun's hot, or that pineapple on pizza is a crime against humanity. So what do you do now, oh salty skeptics? Step 1, shut up. Your It's All race takes are as tired as a rerun of Friends on basic cable. Step 2, buy a ticket. Join the 17,000 fans packing stands or the millions watching at home. Confront the truth with your own eyes. Step 3, admit you were wrong. It won't kill you, I promise, though it might sting worse than stepping on a Lego in the dark. Nobody's saying you can't be tough on Caitlyn for her play, but keep it objective, and don't let this transformative moment get lost in your obsession over who gets credit. The WNBA's stronger, richer, and more electric because of Clark, and 2025's shaping up to be her coronation. She's among the MVP favorites, and the Fever are a legit championship threat. If she wins one or both, the haters will be out of ammo. But you know they'll slink off to grumble about something else.
Bye, Felicia.
If you're still here, leave a basketball emoji in the comments to say hi. Thanks for watching.